Hello and welcome back to Pixel Street Videos. Today, kind of a different video. We've been playing through Halo games. How will?
Yeah.
I
Well, a
mean,
game so far.
yeah. I mean, the goal is to play through all of them, right?
Yeah.
And so what we're gonna do after we beat each game, we're gonna take like 10 minutes just to kind of talk about the game, kind of give our thoughts. So many years later. When did Halo Wars come out? That was like 2012,
Oh, no, far before that. It was shortly after Halo 3. I want to say 2008?
8, something like that. Okay,
2008? Because it was
but
before ODST came out. And that
all
was
right.
2009.
Well, regardless, we just beat the game. The goal that we had was to play through all the games on Legendary. That did not happen, Will. That did
No,
not happen.
it
This
did not.
game, the difficulty spike is drastic from Heroic to Legendary to the point to where there were missions that we tried on Legendary that were taking us 2 hours and then we would fail it.
Yeah.
And then, so we just decided to go down to Heroic for this game only. We're going to try going forward to do the rest on Legendary, starting with Reach. We're going to start Reach today, actually. So there
Yeah.
should be a Reach video up on the channel this afternoon in a few hours here. We'll be live. But yeah, let's talk Halo Wars, Will. Give me a quick story recap. Sum it up in like 2 to 3 minutes.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot of story there other than that it is kind of just setting the plate for the universe, right? So it starts off 20 years before Halo Reach and Halo 1, following the ship and the crew of the Spirit of Fire. They are basically stationed at the planet Harvest, which is their world, or the Halo universe's like farming planet, essentially. It's where a lot of resources are coming from. The Covenant have been attacking it for like 5 years, and they basically have been following the Covenant, trying to figure out like what are they looking for? Why are they attacking this planet? Aside from the fact that it's going to end our crop cycle, they find out that the Covenant are searching for something Forerunner stuff. We don't know that yet, and it leads them to a a a shield world, essentially. Basically, what is Requiem in Halo 4? A shield world is what is made by the Forerunners to withstand the blast of the Halo array when it does go off. So anything on the inside can survive. They get sent to the shield world, and there's no real way back to Earth or to any of the other human colonies. Um, when they get there, they find the Covenant are going to be activating a Forerunner fleet, which would give them a huge upper hand on the war against humanity. So our goal is to stop them from getting the fleet and destroy the shield world before the Covenant can beat us, essentially. We do that, but to do that, they more or less take the the hyperdrive out of the Spirit of Fire, and in doing so, after blowing up the Shield world, get stranded in space. They find the Flood there, which I think is kind of a mistake story wise, but it is what it is. But all of that knowledge of the Flood and the Shield world is lost with them floating through space, which is why we had no um, contact from them. We had no idea what we were going to be running into. The technology and the knowledge of all the Forerunner structures that we find there, it's stuck with them. Lost in space. They all go into cryo at the very end of the game, with only one main character dying, really.
I mean, two, I guess, if you would include the Arbiter as being like the
Well,
main,
yeah.
you know, the main bad guy. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I think the story's fine. Like you said, there really isn't much of a story there. It's more of just these are enemies within the Halo universe.
Yeah. It's
Because
exposition.
because it's all stuff you've seen in. I mean, I'm assuming Halo Wars was not your first introduction to Halo.
No.
If Halo Wars is the first Halo game you've ever played, you're doing something very very wrong.
Right.
So yeah, they didn't really have to explain too much in terms of like enemy types and stuff like that
No.
because that's already been laid out by all the Halo games that came out before. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know. I think that the difficulty thing is the hardest thing that I'm like, that's the harshest thing with the game.
Yeah.
The fact that, Legendary, for certain missions, it wasn't every mission. Like, there were a lot of missions we did on Legendary, but then, like, we just got to a point where it was just frustrating with certain missions. So we're like, we don't even want to take the time spending like an hour and a half on a mission to fail and then dumb it down to heroic. Because,
Yeah.
man, like, we could have beat this game in like 8 hours total if
Yeah.
we played on
If we just
heroic the
kept
whole
the whole
time.
thing on heroic, we could have done
Yeah,
it in probably 2 parts easily.
yeah, and it took us like 12 hours or
Yeah.
11 hours.
Yeah, give or take 10 or
But
11.
but yeah, I mean overall it's an all right game. I don't think it holds up very well. There is some glitchiness to it in terms of
Yeah.
the units and stuff. I know Halo Wars 2 kind of takes it to that next level, like I was telling you earlier, where you can kind of siphon through your units if you select all,
Hmm.
which is really nice. But
Instead of just using the cursor to paint it on the battleground.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can still do that. I think. It's been a couple years since I played Halo Wars 2.
Yeah. What else you want to talk about with Halo Wars? Anything else you want to
Uh,
bring up?
I mean, there's not much to talk about other than it sets the plate for the story. Like, hey, this is the universe. We're being attacked by the Covenant. We found all this cool information, but we can't get it back to people because now we're in deep space with no hyperdrive, and that's the end of that story until, well, basically after Halo 5.
Yeah. But I mean, if you had to give this game a score out of 10, Will, let's go ahead and we're
Ooh.
going to give it a score.
Okay, we're gonna do ratings. Okay. Uh,
Keep in mind, this
well,
is strictly the campaign. We didn't play multiplayer
yeah.
at all. I mean, we did in the past, but we're
Yeah.
not going to consider that.
So story-wise, I'm gonna give it like a 4. There's really not much there. It's just here's these characters, here's the situation they're in, end scene.
Mm-hmm.
Gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 6.5, and it's just because I'm not great with real-time strategy, and I know the game went through development hell, because originally it wasn't supposed to be a Halo game early on. Microsoft came in and said, "Hey, we'll give you money, but you need to make it a Halo game," more or less.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I would say 6 out of 10. Still
6
fun.
out of
Though.
10.
Still a fun game. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I
leaning
might
more
be a bit
6.
harsh.
I was leaning more 6.5, 7 out of
Mhm.
10. But yeah, there is just like that random jankiness. Like we got to that scarab mission where like the scarab was down, but the head was still mobile. But
Mhm.
and I did find a cheese spot with my unit so that we could just constantly attack it, which was nice. But yeah, overall, I think between a 6 and 7 out of 10, it kind of is perfect for this game.
Oh yeah.
But I
I
mean,
mean,
I had fun replaying it. That's the first time I
oh yeah.
played through that campaign, probably since it came out. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
we were getting achievements left and right because it was the first time that we played the definitive edition of the game, which came out
yeah,
years ago.
yeah, exactly. Well, this has been our review of Halo Wars 1. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Um, yeah, as always, like the video if you like it. Comment below, share, subscribe. Stay tuned right here to Pixel Street Videos for more of our countdown to infinite playthrough. Go check out Will's Twitch channel if you want to see his perspective. Twitch.tv/thepianoman23. Bye.